Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and we will conclude the 5-part series on parenting. Today we will talk about value clarification. Values are simply those things, those beliefs that are important to you. Each individual will have a different category or catalog of values. It is a person's values that drive life in terms of what one lives for and what one desires to obtain in life. Now, values are really the silent energy behind the majority of the actions and the decisions that we make from day to day. Let me give you a list, or at least a partial list, of what would be considered values. Being with people, being loved, living ethically, making a home a real home, preserving your roots, being free from pain, having fun, having pride or dignity, being competent, having enjoyable work, living what some call a full life, having purpose. Those are examples of values. And you can probably see at the onset that different people will define those values differently. Now, what is the purpose of values? Values must be for a reason. And when we have a clarity of values, then it gives us the energy to move forward in a productive way day by day. So when we look at value clarification moves you to being aware of why you embrace certain things, why you embrace certain people, and why you even embrace certain attitudes. So we look for the why when we talk about value clarifications. Value clarifications moves you to becoming more honest with yourself and therefore being more honest with your family, your children, your husband, your spouse, your wife, or just with life in general. When you're really clear on why things are significant, and when you really have those categorized properly, then you move through life in a more wholesome manner. Value clarification allows you to disengage those things, to disengage those people, to disengage even those attitudes that are harmful to you as a parent, to you as a spouse, or simply being just a healthy individual. Because if values aren't very clear, then they are really going to impact one's ability to be a very effective parent. If a parent is uncertain about why they are doing things the way that they are being done, the child is going to sense somewhat of a discord within the family system. Let's talk for a minute about effective parenting and parent or value clarifications. So we're going to discuss effective parenting as it relates to value clarification. Each parent must first know what their values are relating to self, relating to home, relating to family, relating to marriage, relating to social life, relating to spiritual life, and relating to children. So if you're going to be, or if I'm going to be an effective parent, then I must first know what my values are as it pertains to different spheres of relationships. Each parent must then rank which are the most important and which are not as important in terms of values. So if I was to give you a list of values, And I'm just going to hold this list up to show you how many values are possible. There are literally hundreds of values, but each parent must rank which are the most important and which are not as important. Each parent must then be willing to honestly review the results of their findings for the better or for the worse. Now, that is a real challenge. If I was to give you a directive, a to-do list, I would give you a sheet that looks something like this. There would be a column for you to list your values. And then there would be a column for you to talk about, well, in these values that I list, what do I really want to happen? What are the results that I'm hoping for from the values that I've listed? See, understand, if there are no intended ends for the values, then why hold the value? So as you list your values in one column, then you must ask the question, what do I want to happen? In other words, what are the goals that I want to accomplish from the values that I list? And then in the third column, you have to ask yourself a very challenging question. What am I going to do about these goals? If these are the goals, then what am I going to do to make these goals come to pass? It may require behavioral changes. It may require your attitude to change. But it is dictated by you. Let's conclude today's stream with a Bible passage. In the book of Psalms 127, beginning at verse number 1, the psalmist says, "Except the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain that builds it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. It is a vain thing for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Children are an heritage from the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hands of a mighty man, so are children in their youth, and happy is the man that has his quiver full of them." What does that really mean? If your values are clear as a parent, then the children that you are parenting are going to be more content, and they're going to be blessed, and they're going to celebrate home. On next week, we will talk about relationships and behaviors, which really is an extension of talking about parenting and values. We will see you back in class again next time. Don't be late, and don't skip class.